Good morning, everyone. I am happy to be here with you on this slightly gray Thursday morning for, believe it or not, episode number 4 of Avoiding the Shiny Object. As you know, I am Donna Miller, and I am president and founder of C3 Workplace, where for the last 22 years, we have helped probably over 2,000 companies to start and grow. And we do that by providing all kinds of back office support, bookkeeping, marketing support, educational programs, and office and meeting space out of our 2 locations in Montclair, New Jersey, and Sparta, New Jersey. So I've been coming to you on Thursday mornings for about 10 minutes, talking to you about topics that I think are really important for business owners in starting and growing their businesses under the common theme of avoiding the shiny object. And avoiding the shiny object can be very difficult because there are so many different hats you have to wear, and there are so many different ways to market your company. What I'll do for a minute is I'm going to recap what we have spoken about so far, which are tools that I believe can help you avoid the shiny object syndrome. The first thing we talked about was target market. You have to get really clear on who you're marketing to so that you can be a loud voice in a smaller market. When I meet people and they say they market to small and medium-sized companies, I roll my eyes, and those of you who know me know I can roll my eyes, and I think that's like boiling the ocean. You can't do it. So get clear on your target market. We talked about behavior and execution. We talk a lot about focus, which clearly is the opposite of getting caught up in the shiny object syndrome. Last session, we talked about WIGs, wildly important goals. What are the things that you need to focus on that will drive your company forward? And when we think of WIGs, hey Peter, glad you could join us. When we think of WIGs, we want to apply the 80-20 rule. 20% of what you do will drive 80% of your results. So it's very important as the business owner to get clear on what is your 20%. And that may be something you have to visit on a regular basis. I like to do that quarterly. I decide what it is that I should focus on. I like to document it. I post it in various places. And then I use my calendar in scheduling my time, not only for appointments. Of course, we put our appointments on our calendar, but I block work time on my calendar so that I am working towards those wildly important goals. Now, when we talked last week about wildly important goals, we said if you are staying focused on your wildly important goals, that means that you are going to have to say no to some very good ideas. That's what I'm going to spend my time this morning talking about. I would like to talk to you about 2 areas of saying no. There's the power of saying no, and there's the power of seeking no. If you have gotten clear on your target market, if you have gotten clear on your mission, values, vision, what do I stand for, where am I going, and what do I do? Mission, values, vision, very short version. That's another segment in unto itself. But when you have gotten clear on who you are, what you stand for, where you're going, how that ties into your wildly important goals, you're going to have to respond instead of reacting to situations, offers, and opportunities that are presented to you. Because opportunities can sometimes be another word for a distraction. As human beings, I think we want to say yes to everything that comes across our desk. The offers, whether it is join this networking group, whether it is can you meet me, whether it is do you want to participate in this volunteer work. The truth is we want to say yes to most of what comes across our desk. And I think there is some value in saying yes to stretch yourself outside your comfort zone. But I also want to say that I think there's a lot of power in saying no. Now, I've been at this for a while now, and I have to say, if you have not said no to a new piece of business because it wasn't aligned with your values, your core offering, it is an incredibly liberating process to say no. Hey, Tony, how are you? Hi, Sue. So I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I'll switch to the second part of the segment in these 10 minutes that flies by. I have said no to new business quite a few times in the last 5 years. And the reason I would say no to new business is because I've now built an organization. I hope all of you are working to build organizations. That is a company that runs without you. You can do that as a solopreneur with virtual partners as well. So if something comes across my desk that only I can do, either I need to charge a really lot of money for that, or I need to say no. That is an acquired skill, kind of like an acquired taste, not easy to do right off the bat because, of course, you want to take the business. Yes, Tony, it is really important. So I had this situation recently where I had a substantial piece of business offered to me. I mean, a 5-figure piece of business, not a small amount of money. But the truth is, it was something that only I could do. And I have a team. And if I want to raise up leaders, I have to be able to give them greater and greater responsibility. But this particular project was something that only I could do. I would have been highly compensated for it, but the reality is, if I am pursuing my wildly important goals, that piece of business would have taken somewhere between 5 and 8 hours per month. And if I was to devote 5 to 8 hours per month to that piece of business, it means that took 5 to 8 hours away from me pursuing my wildly important goals. So I very graciously and with a little bit of trepidation said, no, thank you. And you know, it was funny because I was thinking this through with my husband, who said to me, Donna, you own your own company. These are the decisions that you get to make. And so with the responsibility of owning a business, there is the freedom in saying no. Quickly, I also think that there is also a time and place to fire clients, which is another reason to say no. If you have high-touch, low-profit clients, consider stepping away from that situation for long enough to gain perspective on how you're either going to correct that situation or remove yourself from that situation. And we've had that happen several times in the course of working with clients where we had to have a meeting and say, this isn't working for both of us. We're all about win-win situations. If we can't bring this back to a win-win, then maybe we both need to make other arrangements. And it's really liberating. The second piece of saying no I want to speak to you about quickly in our last couple of minutes is seeking a no. And this is specifically in the sales process, and this is certainly something I've learned from my Sandler sales training. And that is, I don't want to keep following up and following up and following up with someone who may or may not be interested. So I want to encourage you to find a way to work into your process the ability to let your prospects say no, to give them permission to say no, to put that in the beginning of your process, to talk to them and say, listen, we're going to talk about this situation. You're going to have questions. I'm going to have questions. Maybe it makes sense for us to work together. Maybe it doesn't, and that's okay. How great would it be if you found yourself less and less on that hamster wheel of follow-up, which is all it is. It's a hamster wheel. It's hard to get off. So what I like to do very specifically at the end of each conversation, I say to the person I'm speaking to, what would you like to have happen next? Do you want me to follow up, or should I leave it in your court? I'm not even going to follow up with them if they don't want me to follow up. So, my God, these 10 minutes go by so quickly. Everything that I talk to you about during these episodes of Avoiding the Shiny Object Syndrome, are pieces that come out of the Earn More program that I teach, which begins in just over a week. If you'd like to know more about the Earn More program, you can visit our website, www.c3workplace.com. If there is something that you specifically would like my help with, you can email me, donna@c3workplace.com. I would love for all of you to embrace the power of no, saying no and seeking no. I really believe it will help you focus greater on your wildly important goals, which will drive your business forward. Thanks for joining me for another episode. I will see you again next week. Have a great day, everybody.